Okay, the time is 4 p.m. I will call the City of Fort Atkinson Plan Commission meeting to order in person and via Zoom on Tuesday, January 28th, 2025. Roll call, please.
Council Representative Schultz.
Here.
Commissioner Kesnick.
Here.
Commissioner Shull.
Here.
Commissioner Huff. Commissioner Highfield is excused absence. Manager Houseman.
Here.
Thank you.
All right. Next item is new business. Review and possible action relating to the minutes of the January 14, 2025 Plan Commission meeting.
I move to approve the minutes of the January 14th, 2025 Plan Commission meeting.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any questions or comments from the Plan Commission? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that motion carries. Next item on the agenda is review and possible action relating to site plan review for signage at Rydell and Son Exterior Specialists, 1550 Madison Avenue. This is SPR 2025-03. Mr. Drager.
Thank you. Yeah, this one's pretty straightforward. It's a new building sign on the front of the building on 1550 Madison Avenue. As you know, that also has the Subway and Pizza Hut in it. Rydell and Son moved in there for some office spaces, and this is an approval for a new building sign, of course, and a replacement sign for the front of the pylon sign replacement panel there. I will apologize, down in the recommendation, it did say monument sign. That is not part of this approval here. There's no monument sign, but it is meeting all the requirements for the city's ordinances. It is internally lit LED sign. Thank you for that. That's helpful to see that. But like I said, it does meet all the ordinances for sign. It is internally lit LED lighting. As you can see on the building there, it's relatively similar in size to the other signs on the building, just a little different design to fit their logo. And once again, the panel replacement is fitting the same size as what's already existing in that pylon sign along Madison Avenue. City does recommend approval of the signage as it is proposed. I'll welcome any questions. Like I said, it's a pretty straightforward sign. It meets all ordinances.
Does the wall sign, is that internally lit?
Yes,
Okay, so that is lit. It's red and black.
correct.
Okay. That was going to be my question too. Yeah. And then the panel sign, obviously that's internally lit, just like all the panel.
Correct. Yep. That'll just be the actual plastic piece over the top that's being replaced on both sides of that pylon sign.
Okay. Any questions for Mr. Drager from the Plan Commission?
I will say it is nice to see this building getting filled. We've had a few approvals come through with this building, and as well as the one on Lexington, on the corner of Lexington and Madison, getting filled up, which is, it's nice to see.
Yeah, it's great to see these spaces housing businesses here in Fort Atkinson. So the staff recommendation is to approve the wall sign and what do we call that? A tenant panel sign?
Correct. Yep.
Wall sign and tenant panel sign as proposed by the applicant. Is there a motion to that extent?
I will move
Yes.
to approve.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion, a second. Any discussion by the Plan Commission?
You said this was they're just expanding. They needed some more office space.
Yes, yeah, they did move their offices over there. They actually constructed 2 new offices and a portion of it, along with some existing offices inside, which they got all their building permits and everything necessary for that. I do believe they're retaining their site over on Oak Street as well, where they're also located at. But so this will be an expansion, as far as I understand.
Oh, I mean, good for them. It's great to see a local business, being vibrant, healthy, expanding.
Absolutely. Okay, we have a motion and a second on the floor to approve the 2 signs as submitted. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, that motion carries 4-0. Thank you. Next on the agenda, we have review and possible recommendation to the city council relating to the Ridgeview Estates preliminary plat, formerly known as the Banker Road property. This is preliminary plat review 2025-01. Mr. Drager.
Yes, this is fairly exciting or pretty exciting thing to bring forward here. Something I believe everybody that's been involved has been working hard on and getting this to move along with this Ridgeview Estates up there, up on Banker Road area next to the high school. As you can see here, there are several new roads which are actually currently under construction, as well as I believe I have 71 single-family lots there, as well as some MRM 12 lots, which would accommodate up to, I believe it's 20 units per acre. Most of them are right around acre, if not a little bit more, give and take, depending on where this one is located at. And then there's also an MRH 30 lot that is south side of Trillium. We've seen that road a few times in here, which is directly east of the high school. That is that L-shaped lot, which has an outlot to the southwest of it. That outlot is providing for stormwater control and management for the bulk of the neighborhood to the north. There are several other outlots that would also be doing the same in helping control the stormwater for the area. One of the notes on here is we do not see the utilities and the easements for those yet. Those are still under negotiation with We Energies and design for some of the city-owned facilities as well, in regards to grading and things like that, which are sometimes changing depending on the quality of the soils that we're running into. But the general layout is here. That Banker Road, you'll see that kind of does that S pattern there, or Z. That is not necessarily the ending point, and they'll come before this plan commission again for the final road plans. That is put in there for stormwater easement and planning for this subdivision, which is why that's laid out in there. As far as that goes, like I said, there is a one lot in particular that does not meet our zoning ordinances. That would be lot 51 or 50, I believe. Yeah, 50, in regards to depth of the lot. So you'll see that outlot 2 there just to the north of it that wraps around kind of parallel to Peony Drive. Peony Way, I believe it is on there.
PD Place.
There we go. Third try. But anyway, parallel with that, and I believe staff would recommend that we place easements for that outlot rather than have a separate outlot, so that we can put forward lots that meet our zoning ordinances as far regards to depth and pretty much all the general requirements for the particular zoning that we'd be asking for. Also a note on there is you'll see PUD listed on a few of those lots, whereas in this, that's an approval that goes through Plan Commission, City Council, and several different aspects regarding general development plan and a special implementation plan. Those would have to come forward through the city approvals process before they could be labeled that. They should be labeled as their underlying zoning, which is a requirement for the PUD process, that you start with an underlying and the PUD is a variation from that. So that would be another recommendation, that those get corrected on there. Other than that, everything on here is for the most part meeting the city's requirements. Public rights of way are meeting the land development ordinance as well, required easements and those. So other than a few recommendations which we have there, which I'll list off here, so that we all know what we all kind of came up through review. So city staff would recommend, the Plan Commission recommend to the City Council approve the preliminary map with the conditions that I will state here. The PUD lots should be labeled with the individual lots base zoning. Outlot 2 should be eliminated and replaced with stormwater easements, bringing all proposed lots into conformity with respect to dimensions. Outlot 3 should be eliminated to accommodate changes in road grading per the design engineer. Utility easements to be shown on the final plat. Set all collector street radiuses to city standards. Outlots should to be described and labeled as conservancy on the final plat. And that would be along the same lines as the PUD comment that I made, that should be labeled appropriately for our zoning. And then the comment that's made there about the radiuses, there are a couple road radiuses that do not quite meet our requirements. And so those should be adjusted to meet the city's ordinances for that. But other than that, I would be welcome any questions or comments on this. And
Jed, can you talk a little bit about, so we're looking at this preliminary plat now. Your staff is asking the Plan Commission to approve it, subject to the conditions that you just outlined. But we're going to see some of these lots again before this preliminary plat is approved through a certified survey map process. Can you walk the Plan Commission through that timing, just so there aren't surprises when the next agenda comes out?
yes, that would be good. So let me start off with the process for this preliminary plat. So it's a lengthy process. We put this forward for review and then go city council review. And that's just a preliminary where those conditions get set. And then those conditions need to be applied to the map and it would come back for review. And then the state also has to review this preliminary plat as well and give its approval for it. So it becomes a lengthy process. Due to the time restraints on that, the developer is proposing to bring forward 2 different CSMs in regard to a coupled lots to the south. And if we could scroll down to the southern portion of the preliminary plat, you can see. So that would include lot 61, outlot 4, lot 1, which would be, yep, correct, 2 and 3 and 4, I believe, yes. Those would be separate CSMs that will be coming forward I believe on the 11th. Should be having that on the agenda for that. And those would be still following our formal process with certified survey map approvals. What that does is it allows, and state statute allows this as well, to approve these smaller development areas alone or lone standing apart from this preliminary plat. And then once this preliminary plat goes forward, it will not include these lots, and it'll be a continuation of that and include the rest of the subdivision.
So the Plan Commission will see 2 certified survey maps in the near future. The Plan Commission will also see an updated preliminary plat that excludes those lots that Mr. Drager just talked about.
Okay.
And includes the other conditions as set forth in the staff report if the Plan Commission makes that recommendation tonight. I want to make a quick comment on process for this. So per our development agreement with Intrepid Investments, they are to be able to start with the private infrastructure on April 1st.
Okay.
So in order to start with private infrastructure on the multifamily lot, which is labeled as 61 on the screen on this preliminary plat, we will need to have a lot for them to purchase and begin to build. Through the traditional preliminary plat and final plat process, we will not have that lot in place by that April 1st deadline, which is why we just recently shifted our focus to creating a couple certified survey maps to make that land available to meet the deadlines that have been agreed upon already in the development agreement. So we're providing this preliminary plat to show the Plan Commission the big picture here and to see where we're going. And then we will provide a couple certified survey maps that break it down a little bit more, do a little bit more short-term lot creation, and then we'll bring it back for the bigger picture preliminary plat that will then exclude those other lots. The CSM will also include Hawthorne Drive.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it should include
Okay.
Hawthorne Drive and the portion of Trillium there that will, at least in the areas that'll be involved with these lots, yes.
Okay. Great.
What's nice about this is it allows the process for, in my opinion, it allows for the process with the preliminary plat to be reviewed a few different times and to make sure that we're getting it right. The CSMs do allow us to move some of those approvals forward a little bit, but they're more of a microscope and allow the designers and everybody to get the rest of the preliminary plat set the way it should be.
Can you tell us about outlot 6?
Yes. So outlot 6, that's more stormwater retention is what that is, yeah.
Okay.
And that wraps around behind those lots along Banker Road there, or excuse me, on the east side of those lots along Banker Road, or the proposed future Banker Road. So it does connect all the way to the south if you move down to the lower part of the map as well.
Jed, just so I'm clear, you said 71 single-family lots,
Mhm.
and then there are lot 61 and lot 70. No, I just lost my map.
So 61 is the only one that has that high density multifamily.
Okay, and we don't know at this point, or they don't have any kind of estimate on how many units they're
Um,
going to try to put
That's
there?
later on the agenda.
We do have that on the agenda, yes.
All right,
We have a couple concept plans that'll come forward for one for this one and one for an additional lot.
okay. And then the lots 50, 62, and 70, those are also multifamily?
Yes, so 1, 50, 62, and 70, I believe you're right with that. Those are the underlying, that MRM 12. So it's a higher density than single family, but not as dense as the
Got
the MRH 30.
Okay, thank you.
And we'll see the product in the concept plan for what they're proposing for lot 1.
Great.
Okay, questions for Mr. Drager from the Plan Commission?
Yeah, I have one question. I was just curious, you mentioned the radius of the collector streets. Did you touch on that? I'm sorry if I missed that, but is it too shallow or too steep? And like where are the issues on the map?
I believe the radius is too tight.
Yeah, it's the relocation of Banker Road there. It's those two curves and I believe they're too tight. It's a collector and the DOT now is engaged heavily because of their wonderful grant, which we're very appreciative to have, but it changes the standards for the road. So we'll have to accommodate Banker Road. Let's see if I can, I believe it's this section. And then also, mouse is fighting me a little bit.
Where it
And-
redirects back onto the original.
Yep, and this
Mhm.
section. I believe those are the two.
I believe so, yeah.
And just as again, it's just curiosity and learning on my part. I would assume like collector streets can sometimes have higher speed limits, and therefore that's why they would want maybe more of a gradual radius. Or, I mean, is that kind of the? I can't speak for the DOT, right? I just kind of curious
Yeah,
of
I mean, and
the thought behind it.
I don't think that it will be more than 25 miles an hour on Banker Road. It's going to be an urban cross section with, it's a 66-foot right of way, as you can see on this map, which allows, and there will be sidewalk, which actually isn't shown on the plat, which probably should be. Sidewalk and, bike lanes or however, whatever ends up becoming part of that road. So
Correct.
I would not anticipate it being a kind of high-speed collector, just a collector of the side roads in this neighborhood.
Yeah, I believe the standards may have to do with the possibility of higher speeds, but that's not, I don't believe that would be something the city would be looking at for there, or the volume of traffic coming through there too, as it being a collector.
All right, thank you.
Questions from other Plan Commission members?
Sorry, you just made a comment on sidewalk. Is that something that we're gonna make a note within one of the actions at the meeting tonight, just so we didn't overlook it if that's something?
Yeah, I think we need to look at our subdivision code to see if that's something that's required to be on the plat. But because the Plan Commission will be looking at this plat a couple more times in a couple more ways, I feel comfortable not necessarily adding that as a condition at this time.
Yeah, that should be included in that public right of way width as part
Yep.
of that width.
Yep.
So the rerouted section of Banker Road will be allowing semi-traffic, is that right?
Oh, I
That I don't know.
don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think there's any semi-traffic that will be on Banker
Okay.
Road.
I don't think there's any pros for this to be a state road. We just, I
Got it.
believe it's grant funding to help us build it, but it not becoming a state highway or road, truck path.
Okay.
But since they are providing that funding, we have to follow their guidelines.
Yeah.
but, yeah.
Other questions or comments from the Plan Commission? Well, I, for one, am really excited to see this move forward. It's been a long time coming. A lot of work from a lot of different people over a number of years. So I'm very pleased to have this preliminary plat in front of us today, even if it is not in its, final format. It's nice to see it's nice to see this project really, moving forward. So
Definitely.
the staff recommendation, in the staff report is to recommend city council approval, subject to the, pulling up that, subject to the 6 conditions outlined in the staff report. Somebody interested in making a motion to that effect?
I will move
So-
to that effect.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to recommend, for the Plan Commission to recommend city council approval of this preliminary plat, subject to the conditions outlined in the staff report. Any final questions or comments from the Plan Commission on this?
Yeah, one question. Like this development would add population to the city. Based on like single family homes, estimating about 70 single family homes. And we know this will probably take several years to fill out, or maybe hopefully not that long. But is there like an average like people per household? Like, is it like 2? Like we could estimate this development would add within the single family homes, at least maybe 140 people. And then with the multifamily lots, maybe another 100 or so, give or take. So like this development in itself possibly would add 300 people to the city's population.
I don't know if we can safely make that assumption. There'll be people moving from place to place and within the city to other places. So, I mean, I don't know if we can really estimate an additional population based on this, but we can definitely, total up the number of units that we will have. And even a couple of the PUD, the lots that are intended for PUDs, those will be owner occupied single family structures. They will just be attached in some sort of way. Or in the case of lot 70, that has not been completely, we haven't figured out exactly what that one is going to look like, but there's room for a different type of product there, maybe a single family condo style, single family detached, but condo style, for somebody, for people downsizing. The goal of this subdivision really was to be able to accommodate multiple housing products for people in various parts of their lives who want to live here in the city of Fort Atkinson. So I guess I would hesitate to put a number of persons, but I think we can safely estimate a number of units. I can't off the top of my head right now, but we could do some counting. And without really knowing what's going to be on lot 70, I don't think we can quite give anybody a total number of units at this point. But we do know that it will start to get at the pent up demand for new housing that we have in the city of Fort Atkinson. So this is a step towards the goal of providing additional types and price points. This is market rate. All of this is market rate, so we don't have price points on any of it at this point. There's nothing in the development agreement that holds any sort of price points for these units, either the multifamily or the single family. So I just want to make sure that is noted. But that's a great question, and it's a great point, Councilmember Schultz, that we're adding opportunity for additional population.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, just make one other comment. The SR5 zoning, which is primarily what the single family or all the single family is proposed to be zoned, is one of our higher density zonings as well. It's not great expansive lots. It's more consolidated and
And the zoning for for lot 61, is that the high density?
Mhm.
Will that allow for mixed use? No?
No, this,
Okay.
it's
No, it's-
just.
okay.
this is
Residential.
Residential.
Okay.
Okay, we do have a motion and a second on the floor. I would call the question. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, that motion carries. Thank you. Okay, the next item on the agenda is a concept plan for a planned unit development, group development plan, and specific implementation plan for Ridgeview Estates, Lot 61, PUD 2025-01. Mr. Drager.
Yes, thank you. So as we said, some of these would be coming forward here for you to take a look at. As this is a concept plan, there is no action on this. This is more or less just this is what is potentially coming forward or is coming along, and what their thoughts are on it. I believe we're starting with the lot 61 here, which is the multifamily MRH 30 lot. If we could scroll down to the site plan, please, a little bit further. It's not cooperating, is it?
No, it is not cooperating with me, but I will persevere.
So anyway, this is that larger size L-shaped lot, as you can see there, which is directly east of the high school, east of the new Hawthorne Drive, south of Trillium. This would be a multifamily residential, and as you'll see in some of the notes there on the plans, this one is slated for 87 units. There is a phase 2, but we do not have plans for that. That's potential in the future phase. What's coming forward is this first building. Like I said, is 87 units with underground parking, 3 stories. There's a variety of size apartments in this. This would be majority two bedroom, as far as I understand. We do not have the exact final building plans for this. So those would still go through state review for the building plans. Where we're looking at is more or less the site, landscaping, parking, lighting, and of course, all those aspects of the site on this. The reason this would be a PUD proposal is there are some restraints in regards to the site and the size of building they're trying to fit there, as well as the parking, some setbacks that are not being met. Like I said, that's also because of some site restraints due to stormwater easements coming through there for the subdivision to the north. But as you can see in this picture here, this is a 3-story building with the underground parking, and then there is also surface parking. So what's nice about this is there would not be any of the row garages on this site. This would all be, like I said, some surface parking, but also each unit would have their own individual space in that lower underground parking. This would bring some much needed housing to the city of Fort Atkinson for sure. There are some, as I said, there's a landscaping plan. They're not quite, as far as I can see on their numbers, meeting what our ordinance says, but I believe in the intent of our zoning, they are meeting it. It's based off a gross floor plan, but when you hit 3 stories, you're asking for a lot of landscaping on a lot that may not allow for that much landscaping, which I believe we tallied it would be around 80 some trees in order to get anywhere near the number, which, as you'll see in their landscaping plan, is they're providing for a substantial amount of landscaping. So, but there are some aspects of our ordinance that they are not meeting. But as I said, part of this PUD process would be working with them to work on those areas. One of those would be there's an easement with some parking, that stormwater easement all the way to the east there, which we would be looking to make some changes there if possible. But that's one thing about the PUD is you're starting with that base zoning, and then the process generally is the applicant and the city working together to find the best course forward. And that may give and take a little bit to get the best product out there that we can. So as I said, I will take some questions here. It's pretty well laid out. It's kind of up in the air, some of this stuff. There's still room to work on and things to discuss with the developer on it. But this is more or less to gauge the response from this planning commission on thoughts of what you think about it and things along those lines.
So 3 stories of living space and parking on the lower level.
Below ground, yep.
And this is all walk up, or will there be elevators?
No, this is elevator, yes.
I'll pull up the floor plans.
Yeah, I believe they
here.
have on-site community facilities as well. Correct me if I'm wrong here, but I believe they have a gym planned, and then they also have a community area. Also part of this developer's plan is to give each space in the basement a storage area in front of their parking stall as well. So they really have thought of quite a bit of functionality and comfort for the tenants of this building. I believe they put some thought into this.
So there's a car wash area here, and then parking spaces, and then there's storage for each unit behind the parking. Here's the elevator, stairs. This would be the ground floor dumpster. And then just moving over this way.
So yeah, while we're looking at this, what I will point out is that PUD is its own zoning district. So that's the reason for on that preliminary plat where we would have that base zoning shown there. And then this would essentially go through a zoning map amendment to make it a planned unit development district.
So first, I guess I'd like to, actually, we have Adam from American Construction on the line here. Adam is part of the development team. Adam, is there anything that we missed that you would like to add relating to this first kind of concept look at the building and site plan?
Sure. Yeah, thank you. Good afternoon. I know actually you did a really good job of explaining it. I just thought I'd pop on in case, you know, to kind of confirm that, yes, there will be some kind of amenity spaces. We're looking at possible dog run, maybe some grilling space, as well as maybe like a gazebo sitting area. And that's all obviously outside the building. As far as inside the building, you're correct. There's a community space that's open to all the residents. There will be on the second floor, there's office space. So if the work from home, they have the ability to rent, or I'm sorry, not rent, but they can use a private workstation area. There's just to the left of that is where the little workstation area is. So you could have like a little conference room area if you needed it. And then on the third floor, it does have a fitness center. So yeah, so to your point, looking to try to provide as many amenities as possible and making it a really desirable location for folks looking for apartment lifestyle.
Adam, do you have the unit counts readily available to share with us?
So you are correct. It is 87 units. And it's a mix. I guess if you're asking how many, so it's a mix of there's, I believe, 6 studios, and then it's a mix of 1 and 2 bedrooms after that, with the majority being 1 bedroom. I would estimate it's maybe like a 70-30 split, maybe 60-40 split roughly, between 1 bedroom and 2 bedroom, after you take out the studio units. So, you know, you're probably looking at 51 bedrooms, 22 bedrooms, something like that, off the top of my head. And they range in square footage from, I believe the studio is maybe 550, 600 square feet, the 1 bedrooms being 750 to 800 square feet, and then the 2 bedrooms in that 1100 square foot range.
Forgive my awkward mouse scrolling here. It's not, I'm away from the computer that the mouse is controlling and it's not cooperating very well. But thank you for that.
Sure.
So at this time, I'd like to open it up to the Plan Commission for questions for Mr. Drager or our developer, Adam, who is on the line. So if there are questions, please go ahead from the Plan Commission.
Hi, Adam. My name is Jill Kesnick. I'm a plan commissioner. This looks like a really exciting development. One thing I thought of, or one question I thought of, is if these are some nice amenities that you're looking at, knowing that this is a pretty rural area currently and not really, within easy walking distance of much at this point. Have you ever considered putting anything like a cafe or convenience store in these facilities?
We haven't, and I'll just maybe defer a little bit to the city on that. I don't know if it would be allowed, just based on the zoning, but at this point, we have not. You're right, there are a lot of these types of buildings going up, right, where they have like first floor retail and things like that. But that often brings a lot of other questions and things to figure out. So for example, like if you do have a retail store or something like that, then all of a sudden you start to increase parking and things like that. So I might, if either Rebecca or Jed agree with me on that, but so to answer your question directly, we haven't, but it's because of maybe some of the other restrictions that go along with that, in terms of site planning and zoning and things like that.
Yeah, he is correct. Yeah, the zoning would not allow for that. And then he is right to that point, a different zoning and that mixed use would bring on that additional parking and things. And the hope here is that with the additional residential units, we can have that other stuff show up and come and start building near close.
Sure. Just,
Yeah,
I'm always trying to push the envelope here.
Absolutely. Yeah, and what's nice is there is a park plan for the future too. So I mean, there will be those other things to think about. And then this would be connected by sidewalk, and you could make your way over to Lexington and out that way as well. So wouldn't be it'd be a little walk, but I wouldn't say a tremendous walk.
Mhm. Thank you.
Yeah, the Banker Road neighborhood plan that was put together by Van de Waal in 2022 and approved by this body and the city council considered this to be a residential neighborhood. So it was the intention to be residential. But I know at the group that Adam works for does do some mixed use type buildings, and hopefully they have a wonderful experience here with us for this building, and that they are interested in additional projects here in the future.
Thank you.
For sure. Yeah. Thank you.
Other questions or comments from the Plan Commission?
Yeah, a question more out of curiosity. This looks like a big building. I was actually just trying to look at other apartment complexes in Fort Atkinson, just kind of gauge what this might be close to. Rena seems maybe like one of the closest size comparisons.
Yeah, I would say you're accurate there. Irina, probably your closest, yeah,
Okay, gotcha.
from a single building standpoint.
And the assumption then is that this meets the zoning, like, we don't have anything stopping, how big a building is, correct? Like, this meets the zoning as intended?
Yeah, we do have restrictions regards to height and impervious surfaces on the lot. This is meeting those. Yes, this one is meeting those, as well as the height. At one point, it might not have met. I believe we did a zoning amendment to this in the past a couple of years ago in regards to height for 3-story buildings to accommodate what I believe the city was looking for, to maximize density and underground parking to try to get away from that front-loaded row garages on the outside that eat up real estate.
Okay,
So-
no, thank you. I'm
Go ahead.
just overall, I'm excited. I'm very hopeful to see this in real life as soon as possible. So, something I think that our city needs to provide a little bit more breathing room for those that are looking for housing or, as mentioned earlier, just the options for different types of housing. And I know that other council members have mentioned that we haven't built an apartment complex or multi-unit of anything substantial in over 20 years. So definitely very excited to see this move along.
Thank you.
Hi, I have a question, Diana Shell, Plan Commissioner, which is, what are the plans for mail and packages?
Yeah, so on the first floor, there will be in the lobby space, so there is a mail slot for each one of the units, and then there's also a parcel table. So Amazon, so the front doors, I guess, are unlocked. Then there's a second set of doors that are locked. So the post office has the ability to get into that lobby area. And so, yep, right in there in the vestibule, you'll see on the left-hand side, there will be a wall of mailboxes for each resident, and then on the right-hand side is the parcel drop-off. So UPS leaves their packages there, and they get a notice inside their mail box, and they can retrieve them there.
Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, if there are no other questions, there's no action required by the Plan Commission for this item. It's simply the concept plan. At our next meeting, Mr. Drager, could you have maybe that outline that you've made of the schedule so that the Plan Commission
I can.
understands
Mhm.
what the schedule is for these planned unit developments? That would be great, and then we can all know where we're going next. But where we're going next on the agenda is the concept plan for the planned unit development, group development plan, and specific implementation plan for Ridgeview Estates Lot 1, PUD 2025-02. And just a note from what we were talking about a little bit ago, as far as the certified survey maps, those lot numbers will change. So don't put too much credence in these PUD Lot 1 and
Okay.
PUD Lot 61, because those lot numbers will change into the future. Jed, why don't you go ahead while I find
That's fine. Yeah.
find the item here in the packet.
So this next concept plan here is for that lot 1 as we saw it, but as we know, these lot numbers will change here in the future. But for right now, we'll refer to it lot 1. It is the northwest side of the Trillium Drive and then Marigold as well, and then be on the left side of that, as you could kind of see up there on the top left corner. Currently, it's zoned single family, which is a designation was put for the whole area, just kind of a blanket zoning to hold the spot. This would have an underlying zoning of MRM 12, which is our medium density multifamily zoning. As you can see, this is a two banks of row housing or townhomes. They are attached to each other, but they are an individual living unit. They are proposed to have their own garage space and additional parking outside. Landscaping improvements, this kind of goes through the same approval process as some of the larger projects. It's just, it's a little bit smaller in scale. This would have 8 total units. Once again, this is a nice product, I think, for a transition from that higher density to the single family. It kind of softens it as it goes to the north. And like I said, it has each individual owned units there. So this is as far as the plan as of this time, these would be individual parcels and not a rented space. It could go through a condo plat if they chose to go that route, which would be once again another review for that, as would the individual parceling of this, which I believe is the plan. You can see the individual garage doors, parking outside. These essentially are an individual home. They just share a wall, much the same as a duplex does, except there's 4 of them in a row rather than just the 2. This, once again, has some variances from our zoning ordinance regarding some setbacks to the lot lines. I believe what they're trying to do is to maximize the units on the space. And there are some restrictions with this lot and in regards to grading and things in this area. That's all right, unless you want to show it, but this area had some elevation restraints in these lots, lot 1, 2, 3, and 4, as you saw on the preliminary plat earlier. So this is moving it forward to kind of move away from that, I think was part of the issue there. So once again, that PUD process allows us to work with the applicant to potentially encroach that setback a little bit, but maybe we ask for different design elements or some extra landscaping or things like that to kind of offset that to make sure it's the best project for both parties, the city and the applicant. So with that, I'll take some more questions that you may have on this. But as you can see, the same thing with the previous plans. It's pretty straightforward as far as single family units, and it would be a nice and welcomed thing to our city. And as you can see, it's designed nicely. It has some articulation. There are some nicely designed buildings from this front side of this view.
Yeah, I really like that overall front elevation. I'll just note a couple things. Because of the way this is on the site, and I will do my best to scroll back up to that site plan, but the back elevation, let's see. So the back elevation is facing a right of way here. And then these two side elevations are also facing right of ways. And when we went down and kind of saw those elevations, I think they could use a little bit more articulation. I'm really trying to be efficient with this mouse, but it's fighting with me. So this is one of the rear elevations, and that would be facing Trillium Drive. And not very far from it, 15, 18 feet from
Yeah.
right of way line.
It is fairly close, and this would be an entrance right into the new subdivision there, so.
Yeah.
It'd be nice
And
to have
then
some
likewise
stuff.
with these overall side elevations, we would have one of each of those facing Marigold. Which, you know, Adam, I don't have any feedback as far as exactly what I would want to see there. I think that your architects and your folks who design these buildings could come up with something that would be a little bit more aesthetically pleasing on those two sides, the three sides, basically, two sides of one building and one side of the other building that are facing the public rights of way.
Sure, okay.
Yeah, I mean, and I like the color combinations that you're using, and I think even if we can't do, you know, additional, you know, gables or things of that nature, at least you could, you know, maybe use the palette, that color palette in a way that differentiates a unit from another unit, or something that provides some contrast or provides some additional aesthetics
Yeah.
along those rights of way.
Different siding types, or
Yeah, okay.
I don't know if there's a space for additional fenestration on those two end units. That would certainly break up that massing too.
Yeah, for sure, okay. Thank you, yep.
Questions on this concept plan from the Plan Commission?
I just want to reiterate what Rebecca said. I think that the front elevation is really attractive and eye-catching.
So I'm gonna attempt to go back up to the site plan so we can look at that again. And Jed, maybe you can just remind us exactly what which elements are maybe requiring the the PUD designation versus straight zoning.
So that would be our setbacks from the public right of way. They are encroaching, especially along that marigold there, which would be what I guess we would look at as the front of the lot. I believe they have 13 feet at the lowest number, I believe. And at the moment, I'm struggling with the amount we need. I know it's 25 feet, I think is what we asked for from this MRM 12. So they would be encroaching that from a building setback standpoint. The zoning does allow for the density. I did have conversation with them on the impervious surfaces, buildings, and the driveway and all that. And I believe they are just making it on that. They're running those calculations again, but once again, those would be looked at. Overall, there are very few aspects of this where they're not meeting. It'd also be the two principal structures that would be the bulk of the reason for the PUD. All of our zoning ordinances or all zoning districts require a principal structure, and then it would be accessory structures after that. Here we have two principal structures, which this is the appropriate process to accommodate that.
Okay, anything that we missed, Adam, that you would like to add about this, this proposed plan unit development?
No, not at this time. If there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. But no, I think you did a good job describing them.
Are these 2-bedroom, 2 and 3
Oh,
bedroom?
Sure, yeah, great question. So I'll just talk about, so a 4-unit, so let's say the one on the left, so it has 2 bedrooms and 2 3-bedrooms. The 3 bedrooms, there's one option where it has all 3 bedrooms on the second floor. And then the top one that has the 2-car garage that actually has 2 bedrooms upstairs and 1 bedroom downstairs, or yeah, 1 bedroom downstairs for a 3-bedroom, just to kind of give that variety in case there's a mother-in-law suite or something, you don't want to have to go up and down the stairs. So there is that option. They are 1-car garages, except for the one with the 3-bedroom with the 2 up and the 1 down. That's a 2-car. Otherwise, they do have full, driveway out front. Each unit, laundry room, 2.5 bath. The 3-bedroom has a master bathroom. The 2 bedrooms have separate bathrooms, private patio space. That's probably about it, I think.
Yeah, this is a product that the city really doesn't have
Mhm.
much of. So I think it is a new thing that I think people will like. And the intention is, Adam, for it to be condominiumized at some point and owner occupied units.
Yeah, so right, so they'll, in terms of snow removal and things like that, correct, yes, yeah, but they will be owner occupied. They are for sale, so.
Wonderful.
Yep. And I think they range in square footage. I think the 2-bedroom is around 1,500 square feet, and then the 3 bedrooms are around 1,700, almost maybe 1,750, something like that. So they're a good size.
Mhm.
Great.
How does like snow removal and lawn care, how does that get, like, would there be a tenant or owner agreement or homeowner type association?
Exactly.
Just so that like one house isn't putting completely wild and different landscaping than the one next to it. They still
Yeah.
have shared walls and roof. So
Yep, that's exactly how it is. So there'll be like some kind of an HOA. I don't know if they use the same term HOA when it comes to these types of units. But there is some kind of an agreement that they have those things taken care of, that there's a service that does that. Correct, yeah, yep. And it'd be similar to for the apartment complex as well, right? Though it's probably the same guy, company that does the snow removal and the landscaping and cutting that would do these as well. Yeah.
yeah, I've seen these this style, like condominium style, like housing built in Lake Mills, and like they filled up. and they look beautiful. You know, if I didn't already own a house, I would look at those next. So.
Mhm.
Any other questions or comments from the Plan Commission? Okay, again, this is not an action item, and we will definitely see it again. So thank you, Adam, for your time.
Absolutely. Thank you.
The next item on the agenda is an update on previous Plan Commission items. Mr. Drager and or I would be happy to answer any questions about specific items that anybody needs an update on.
I don't have anything specific, but
I will just note, we have a couple deadlines from things coming up. The old Shopco, which is now CubeSmart, thank you. They had a couple outlots that they were supposed to either sell or remove the pavement and return to green space. That is coming up, I believe, in 2025. There's a couple other things that we will be following up on when we put some things into place a few years back. So we'll be following up on some of those and as they come closer. I think actually we sent a letter already to, and then U-Haul had a couple items too. So Jed will come and speak to those. So it's more intelligible than what I'm saying.
I can give you the lowdown. So yes, so we sent them a letter reminding them of the deadline for those two outlots and their need to restore those to green space or to remove the blacktop for those if they are not sold by the deadline, which I believe is September, somewhere in there. I don't quite remember what the deadline is at, so we'll kind of wait and see where that goes.
and DG Market was looking at one of those outlots at one
They
point,
were
right?
originally under contract for it and then presented a design which did come through here and was approved.
Yeah.
But if we remember during the meeting, they changed course and then we had continued conversations with them and did not come to
Okay.
agreement at that
Yeah.
point. U-Haul has a few items left over. They are for the most part done. They have some ADA ramps and the sidewalks or the bike path over there that need to be taken care of. And then I can go through a couple other ones if you like. St. Paul's Gym on the back, if you remember that. That is, for the most part, the exterior of the building is for the most part done. There's some glass they're waiting on. Rough-in inspections have been completed in there for plumbing. So they're moving along. Gym floor is down. So they're moving along with that and looking for a completion early this year here yet. Opportunities addition over there. They are pouring the floor in that building. Most of the exterior of the building is done. That's over on Kramer and Johnson or Jefferson, excuse me. So they're pouring the interior floor. So they are a couple of months from completing that building as well. Both of those will have some time to spend waiting for the weather to get right to complete the exterior landscaping and requirements for that.
We've been working with Base
Yeah.
on the,
Yep.
and that, the rezoning, the Plan Commission reviewed that rezoning, in 2024.
Mhm.
For that, the Endeavor Building, 1220 Janesville Avenue, I want to say that.
1233.
Okay.
That one, they are working with the engineer and design to sprinkler the whole building and make some improvements to the inside and make it usable for quite a number of different group daycare uses along those lines. Core Fitness, we saw the signage for that
Yeah.
down, and that's the old building that's also on Janesville Avenue. 18 something. I can't remember the address off the top of my head.
Former Rate Watch.
Yes, former Rate Watch building. They just had their final fire inspection and they are just about to get their certificate of occupancy there.
Great.
And then, yeah.
So there's a lot of things going on.
Yeah, that's
And
great.
we'll continue and hopefully this will be another one of those great projects that starts and we'll keep you updated on it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, item number 4 is adjournment.
Move to adjourn.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second to adjourn the meeting. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned at 5 PM on the dot. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.